I was on Facebook and I noticed this memory that popped up from 2 years ago when I received the John Saltmarsh Award for Emerging Leaders in Civic Engagement. My family couldn't be with me, so I used Facebook Live to record the event. I just realized that Facebook Live events are saved in Facebook and you can download them. And so I turned that memory into a video. I hope you enjoy it. Like always, like, subscribe, comment on the videos, and thank you for watching my YouTube channel, The Model Minority Stereotype, where we talk about all things Asian American and academic. Take care.
Freaks Jim out when I get up here under normal circumstances, but she didn't know this was even coming. We're giving out awards today, and I thought the first award should go to Jen. The goal is to make her cry, and we've done really well so far. And I'm not in fully yet, so Jen's been with us for 7+ years. Has been an amazing contributor, as all of you know.
Yes.
What's stunning is how many people are in this room and far beyond comment on what a wonderful colleague and collaborator she's been in representing the national office and representing all of you as she does every day. And so the plaque that we're giving her, if I may read it, says "Making a Difference." Jennifer Donovan Goldman, in recognition of 7 years of service to our democracy through your leadership as the national manager of AASCU's American Democracy Project. June 7, 2018. Now I'm gonna cry.
So I warned you that George and I are both criers. And I'm, a little, This award is for all of you. This adventure, this journey we've been on, this chapter, has been amongst the most important in my life. And I am who I am today because of all of you. And we have made such a difference together, and I'm only glad that in changing hats, as I like to call them, that I'm not leaving this movement, and I'm not leaving any of you, and I don't want you to feel that way, because I'm right here alongside you. You can't get rid of me that easily. Because this is too important, and you're all too important, and whether that means that you end up in DC and we get to have coffee or a drink or meet up or plot the next best way to make a difference, you better find me. And you need to know that you're gonna see me continue to pop up, and that I'm so excited to be at an organization that has partnered with ADP since the beginning and will continue to do so. If you didn't know, I served on the board of the All-In Campus Democracy when they started. And they launched here at CLDE back in 2016. And we've been doing work with Kat, Shelby, and Zanita, who couldn't be here today. Since the beginning, we'll continue to do that. And I'm honored, and I thank you all, because you are part of why I am kind of the practitioner and advocate for democracy that I am. And I couldn't do it without all of you. And so apparently I'm going to spend like the rest of the conference not trying to cry while doing this. But you just need to know how much each and every one of you mean to me, and I truly mean that, because even those of you I don't have a deep personal relationship with, we already have that relationship. We already value the same things, and we're prioritizing the same things, and we're doing the work with intention, and we are helping to make this world and this democracy and make sure that this experiment is successful and continues to be there. And for those of you who've been coming to this meeting for 5 or so years, you'll know that I did the Denver meeting hugely pregnant, to the degree that people who hadn't met me thought I was either really nervous up on stage because I couldn't catch my breath, or they thought that like I was sick or something. And that almost 5-year-old Maya will be here tomorrow evening along with my husband Sean, and I hope that some of you will have a chance to meet them, because the reason I do this work when I started was because it's really important. The reason I do this work now is it's still really important. And I have this amazing little human who already can explain what mommy does and why it's more important than what daddy does. Which is because her daddy tells her that. He's a research space scientist for NASA and does really cool work. And works with like astronomical budgets that we all cry and are envious of. But she can explain it, and she knows why the work that all of you are doing is important and why we need to be doing it. Yes. And she hasn't missed an election yet as a voter. And luckily lives in a city where she'll be able to actually vote for her mayor and city council members at 16. And lives in a city where non-citizens can vote for their council members and mayor, and knows and can understand kind of already what's going on. So if my 5-year-old can understand it, if her preschool can have an election and explain to them how to register and why this matters by asking them to vote for pony rides or magic shows. Pony rides won. I was very happy. And they had the pony ride the Monday after the election. And if she can come home and tell us why we've made some poor decisions at different points on different levels, then we can do this work with college students. And we can do this work together. And I am going way over time, but I just need you to know how important all of this is and how important all of you are to me. And I'm not going anywhere. So I love you all. Thank you.
And we now return to our regularly scheduled program. although I have to say that for me, I got pulled into this incredible work and being a part of this largely out of a conversation with Jen. Because when I found myself in 2015 working for multiple campuses instead of working on one, I wanted to stay involved and make a difference. And George said, you need to talk to Jen, and I talked to Jen, and now I get to work with and for a lot of incredible campuses, including the 3 who I get the privilege of introducing you all to right now. We kicked off in the last year our inaugural institutional award. This is part of AASCU's Excellence in Innovation Annual Awards, Civic Learning and Community Engagement Award, and it was awarded to 3 campuses this year. And what I'd like to do is mention briefly each campus and have the representatives from those campuses stand up and be recognized. The first of those is Stockton University, New Jersey, a founding member of ADP, so a long history there. And its involvement demonstrates strategic and long-term commitment to institutionalizing and advancing student civic learning, community engagement, and regional stewardship. So would our representatives of Stockton please stand and be recognized by your colleagues. Congratulations. For purely selfish reasons, one of the best parts about being actually here in person is that I see so many of you either in video conferences or hear your voices on conference calls, or better yet, like see your tweets and retweet your good stuff. But it's actually exciting to see you all in person. Our second are our colleagues from James Madison University. James Madison University, or JMU, as we all know them, they have a comprehensive approach to civic learning, community engagement, that includes an award-winning service learning program, student-centered involvement, teaching, and expands to really across everything that the institution does. If any of you follow a lot of the work that happens at JMU, you know that it is truly, like many of our campuses, a part of the institutional ethos. So with that, let's recognize our friends and colleagues from James Madison
All right.
And finally, University of North Carolina at Charlotte. The Charlotte Action Research Project works to create a strong and sustained infrastructure between the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, and local marginalized neighborhoods. So with that, let's give a round of applause, and would our friends from UNC Charlotte please stand and be recognized and congratulated. UNC Charlotte. We got another round of applause for our institutional award winners.
So now we're going to have the opportunity to invite up individuals who have previously received these awards and have the opportunity to then give the awards out to this year's recipients. These are some of our special awards that we really spend a lot of time recognizing, and there's a variety of applications that then go through the process for this, and I'm going to keep the show going, okay, folks? And first we're going to ask. No, good. All right. So, Danielle Lake, can I ask you to come on up so that we can start the show on the Saltmarsh Award?
Hello. So, this year's John Saltmarsh Award winner was described as a natural connector and a scholar activist. In my own work, I would describe him as a boundary spanner, a publicly engaged scholar. Right? Somebody who's navigating between worlds, really trying to make a difference through all of the outlets available to him. He embodies Saltmarsh's commitment to generate and sustain a movement, and he is looking for and finding ways to advocate for change through his service, his teaching, and his scholarship. Indeed, pretty much all of this scholarship, and there's a lot, engages in some of the most intractable challenges that we're facing in higher education today, including the student debt crisis, the need for anti-racist teacher preparation, and culturally relevant pedagogy, as well as the need to destigmatize the new majority of students who don't look like that traditional student body. His application really focuses on his potential for future leadership, but I see leadership emerging in every part of the work he's doing right now. He's pursuing a collaborative form of leadership, and it's committed to systemic change. So while his expertise centers on education, he's moving between fields and institutions, and he's advocating for change at the state and the national level. He is clearly committed as well to fostering the capacity for this work, encouraging student voice and self-authorship, collaborative mentorship, and collaborative leadership. He is acting as an organizational catalyst to change higher education. And he's modeling this leadership. Unfortunately, Dr. Saltmarsh could not be here today, but as I was speaking, he sent an email thanking him for his work and encouraging him to continue on with this incredible record, especially work that is pushing the boundaries of civic engagement to address these kinds of challenges that we need to face today. So with that, I want to congratulate Dr. Nicholas D. Hartlep and ask him to come up and receive his award.
So she was sitting at the table and I didn't know that. Small world. So those who don't know me, my name is Nicholas Hartlep, and my work reflects who I am and the experiences I've had. And so it's important to explain my viewpoint and a little bit of my history. I'll be brief. Thanks and appreciation to the committee, everyone at AASCU that was involved in the process. Certainly Dr. Saltmarsh sent a kind email, as well as those who at Metropolitan State wrote the nomination stuff. And so Greg Mellis, Jody Bantley, Baltimore was my first conference, and now this is my second, and this certainly won't be my last time I'll come to all these now. But I'd like to just say a few things. One is I'd like to say thank you to my wife, and so Jody is kind enough to do a Facebook Live. They're in Wisconsin right now, and I was a little worried. It humbles me to be selected because I personally didn't think I would get it. But then when Greg called me, I was picking up my daughter from preschool, and he said, "You got it." And I said, "What do you mean I got it? You got the award." And then the next thought was, wow, I need to come to the conference because on the application, and it was a financial burden. I didn't at that time, and so his office funded my trip. So I appreciate ISIS and that. So after he told me he would cover the expense, I was more relieved. But my wife and my children, Chloe, Avery, Olivia, my advisors, and certainly my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law is actually at home helping watch the kids so I could be here. Now notice I said a lot of women in those, and I think that now is an opportunity to remind everyone in the room about the Me Too movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, the Occupy movement. And these hashtags need to continue. I want to thank my dean, Renee Anchoff-Gonzalez, for supporting my work, the provost and president at Metropolitan State University. There's two campuses, if you don't know. There's the Denver, and then there's St. Paul. I'm at the St. Paul. And lastly, what these awards mean, I think, is a legitimization of scholarship. As a transracial adoptee, I was born in Korea and I came to the United States. And as an adopted person, that's a very traumatic experience, being raised by white people. And the trauma really informs why I do work on, racism, classism, xenophobia, homophobia, misogyny. We need to understand that systems reproduce themselves. And so if we want meaningful change, we need to change our institutions. The individuals that are doing a lot of the acting and the advocacy and the activist work can only do so much until the actual systems change. And so the last thing I'd like to say is the whole mentorship is really important. The Chronicle of Higher Education just had an article out of when do you stop being an early career scholar? Fingers crossed, I'll soon be tenured. But does that mean as an associate professor I'm not early career? So there are many students, raise your hand if you're a student. Many of you will become faculty members. And so I'm very much a proponent of mentorship and pulling people in your wake. And so this evening I'll be able to have dinner with some mentees of mine at Chapman University, who's I've worked with. So I think last thing I'd like to say is just mentorship is so important. And I wouldn't be here if it weren't for a mentor, Greg and Jody, who invited me to Baltimore. So thank you very much for listening.